Dreamcatchers are a Native American tradition that protected sleeping children from nightmares. It is said that the night air is full of good and bad dreams. The good dreams would flow down the feathers to the child sleeping below, and the bad dreams would get stuck in the web. Originally, they were quite small, but today I'm going to make a big one. Now, what you'll need is an embroidery hoop. You can just find this at your local fabric store. Some wool, some feathers, some wooden beads, some cardboard, and some scissors. So the first step is to take the inner hoop out of the embroidery hoop. They actually come with two, so you can make a second one later. So now we're going to make the web, and I've chosen a nice dark blue wool for this. So just knot it up at the top, and I like to do a double knot, just so it's nice and strong. Now I find it a lot easier to keep your wool on the roll for this bit, and we're just going to wrap it around the hoop. So just keep it nice and tight, wrap it around the opposite end, and bring it about 10 centimetres away from your first wrap, and then copy it on the opposite side. Now this bit can be a little bit fiddly, as you can see. I find resting it on my tummy actually helps wrap it around the other side, but you can rest it on a table or anything. Almost done. Last one. There we go, and after you finish wrapping your web, just tie it off with a double knot. And just trim off the loose end. There we go, there's our web. Now the next step is to do our fringing, and I've chosen the lovely light blue, green and beige to complement our dark blue wool. Now I'm going to start with the light blue in the centre, and I've cut 30 strands into 1 metre lengths, and we'll just hold it up, you double it over, you thread the loop through the hoop, the ends through the loop, and then pull tight. And when you run out of one colour, move on to the next. It's good just to bunch them together so they're nice and tight. We're almost finished. I'm on to my second last colour. And as you can see, we're just travelling up the wooden frame, keeping it nice and closely bunched together. And there we go, we finally got there, all our fringing is done. Now I want to tidy up the ends and cut them into a nice point, just like a diamond. So just brush the fringing with your fingers so there's no knots and lie it flat. That will give us a nice accurate cut. Now I'm going to use half a square piece of cardboard as a stencil for when I cut, so it gives you a nice clean edge. Now I'm just going to put my cardboard halfway down my fringe and just make sure the point is right in the middle. And then you can start cutting away. And take your time so it's nice and neat. Now I find it helps to put your hand on the other sides of the thread because it just keeps them tight as you're cutting. Almost done. And there we go, we've finished cutting our fringing and it comes into a nice point. Now it's time to decorate it. Okay, now I've got some lovely feathers and wooden beads. What I'm going to do is put the wooden bead down the feather and it should hold. And now we just need to pick out 9 threads evenly along the fringing and we just tie the wool around the end. And just remember to do a double knot so it's nice and tight. Now don't worry if you've got a little bit left over once you tie them on, you can cut the end off later. Make sure you tie these nice and strong. You want to make sure they catch all the good dreams. Now the final step is just to tie a bit of wool at the top. Now I've just made sure it's in the centre, so when you hang up your Dreamcatcher, it's all balanced. And there we have it. It's our finished Dreamcatcher. Sweet dreams.
So Bianca, what's the first thing you see when you look at this particular painting?
I mean, the scale, it's very, very big. You can imagine it would have taken a very long time to do.
artists take months, years to do a painting, but people in the gallery spend 2 or 3 seconds walking past. So,
Absolutely.
Artwork like this, the scale of it, really makes you stop and look more closely at the artwork itself. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it's being created on this scale is really important because it's telling an epic story.
So that's a good thing for me to think about, the size and, I mean, the sheer emotion that you get from how big or small a painting is.
Yeah, it is really important to think about what your artwork's going to look like, where it's going to be placed, and also how the audience is going to respond to it.
Very classic. Very war-like. Big hats. Looks like kind of Russian, I think, or something like that.
Maybe?
Russian.
What?
I don't know.
Maybe the picture's trying to tell us about war in that time.
Yeah, what war looked like in that time.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I know what this is. Do you know what this is?
No.
It's the Charge of the Light Brigade. This painting is huge. It would cover all this area here. So I think it would have to be a pretty strong wall, don't you, to hold it up?
Probably a long time ago because they're using horses, they're using swords,
Traditional clothing.
yeah.
Hi, I'm Gigi and I'm a professional pastry chef. I love to decorate my cakes using flowers, so today I'm gonna take us to another level and we're gonna make edible flowers. For that, we're gonna need rice paper, or we call wafer paper. You can buy in any cake decoration shop, or you can just try to find online and order at home. They are made out of potato starch, so you can actually eat this paper. What we need is 18 size of a big circle, 6 centimeters, and I also cut 3 of the small circles, 3 centimeters. You do the size you like. Once you have your circles, you just cut halfway through, like I did here. We're gonna need to do that in all the circles before we start. And you also need a wire cutter, water, just tap water, it's fine, a brush, and a little bit of sugar paste or fondant. That's a really thick icing. Okay, let's start assembling our flower. Get one of your big circles, brush a little bit of water over this wedge and just overlap. You're gonna hold it and it will stick together. Good tip, don't put too much water, otherwise it'll be a mess. So now we're gonna do this technique with all the circles and then we come back and I'm gonna show you how to put it all together. Okay, that's my last cone done. So we're gonna use these small cones as center of our flower. Little bit of water once again. Just place where we overlap and then get the second one and just place together. Now we're gonna place the last one. So just gonna use this gap here, brush a little bit and place in the center. Let's put this aside and let's start with the big petals. Big petals is the same technique. We're just gonna overlap 3 of our petals. Little bit of water. If you see your petals are still a little bit wet, maybe because you brushed too much water, just let it dry a little bit more, okay? So once again, little bit of water, and then I'm just gonna place that together. Little bit of water, and then place the third one together. Here we go. So that's the big circles. Now, what we have to do is you're just gonna get your petals and you're gonna start placing from the back. Just glue with a little bit of water. Place where you're happy with and then just turn around and do the same thing with the next one. Easy, isn't it? And here we go. So that's our final outside flowers.
So what you're gonna do now, you're gonna place a little bit of water in the middle, and we're just gonna stick the center, and we will have our beautiful flower. Done. How beautiful is that? So you can leave just the way it is, or if you want, you can just insert a structure just to place in your cake. So you're just gonna get your flower wire and the wire cutter, and you're just gonna cut the size you want. Say that much, it's plenty. And then from the center, it's gonna make a hole and go all the way through. So just be gentle, you don't wanna damage the flower. So you're gonna push it through to have this little bit coming out. And what we're gonna do here now, we're gonna need a little bit of sugar paste or fondant and just a little tiny bit, like make a little bowl using your hands. So a little bit of water here. So you're gonna stick in the center. Oh, look at that, how cute. So just to be safe, we're gonna get a little bit of fondant again, and we're gonna make a structure from the back, okay? So then we hold this wire between the edible flower. Okay, so then what I do now, I just let this dry a little bit just to make sure everything stays together. And here's our edible paper flower. How beautiful is that? So you can play around and just make the center with some color. You can color in your sugar before. Just go crazy, make your own flower and get arty.
This is an outside scene, as we said, a really dramatic historical moment. The painting is actually capturing a moment in time. So it's almost like a museum. The artist was interested in history, so
he's done a lot of research.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of preliminary drawings. Yeah. So the process of an artist is getting their thoughts together, getting their ideas together. It's almost like a snapshot of the artist in action.
Yes, it is, like a selfie.
It is.
Oh, wow.
Oh, he is the staircase.
That's right. But what's the man looking at? What is he looking at?
The picture.
That's right. And is it the picture that we just had a minute ago?
Yeah.
That's what the familiarity is, isn't it? Exactly.
How long do you think it took to paint that?
I guess about 50 seconds. No, 50
50 seconds?
Yeah.
Good heavens. How could you paint this in 50 seconds? You can't write your full name in 50 seconds, Alfie.
I can.
Whoa.
Oh. It looks like a painting of the painter. It could just be, like capturing the moment of maybe being close to or finishing the painting and what a success it was.
Today I'm going to show you how to make letters that jump off the page. All you need is some blank paper, pencils, a black marker, a ruler, some coloured markers, and an eraser. Awesome, so guys, first thing, grab your ruler and your pencil, and we're going to draw a rectangle. So just go around 10 centimetres across the page and 15 centimetres down. And the reason we're doing this, it's going to be a guide for our letter. Starting from the right-hand side of the rectangle, draw kind of like a C shape. Now just repeat that step, just on the left-hand side. And we're gonna draw just freehand a line going across. Now it's okay to come outside the box. Remember, it's just a guide. We come back up, and then we're gonna join this line to that. There's one more outline to do, kind of like an oval shape. And there you have it, we have our A. Now what I mean by 3D is that the letters are going to look like it's coming out of the page as opposed to sitting flat. Now to make it 3D, if you envision kind of like a light, I suppose, coming from the left-hand side, casting down, just draw lines where you picture the shadow would cast. So of all these lines, we're just going to connect them up just use the line of the actual letter as a guide to repeat it down here. And then finally, the last line we're going to do is the same as this. I've chosen to do the letter A, but you can do any letter that you like. Awesome. So once you're happy with your basic outline, grab your marker to go over the shape. I've chosen my thicker marker. And the reason why we start off in pencil first was that if you made any mistakes, you can always erase them before using the permanent marker. Okay, too easy. So I chose a thick marker first. I'm gonna go with a thinner one, just to draw in some lines. And the idea with these lines is to make the letter look like it's popping out of the page. Now you can use your ruler to help you as you go along. Just to make the letter look a bit more 3D, so draw in some lines, just like so. And the idea is to make it look a bit reflective. Cool, that's it. What you need to do now is erase the pencil. All right, let's get arty and colour it in. So I've chosen 3 colours, blue, orange and yellow. And the reason why I'm doing that is I'm going to repeat them and it's going to make a really cool pattern on my page. So I'm going to do 1 there and then skip 2 and just go along like that. And there you have it, a letter that jumps off the page. Now here are some other examples of the letter A that I've done, and they all look different, but they all have that depth around them. So experiment with the ones you've got at home.
So when you're looking at portraits, it's really important to think about the choices artists make. They're making choices about what she's wearing, what she's holding, also the colours that they've chosen as well. So with this particular portrait, it's of the artist's daughter. So what he's done, the choices he's made, the way she's presented is quite regal. How long do you think she would have had to sit there?
A really long time. Poor girl. Yeah, I think that's probably why she's so serious.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, I think that's another sort of older artwork. Yeah. The costuming's quite
Elegant.
yeah, traditional and old.
Yeah. I think she might be European, possibly.
European.
Because, just the way she looks, I guess. She doesn't look very happy because her face is very, bland.
She's probably been sitting there for a really long time.
Yeah.
What does she look like to you? Just like a young girl?
Queen's kid.
She's never seen the Queen's Child.
I've never seen it.
I know, but what made you say that? Well, have a look at it because of the way she's dressed and because she's sitting like she's on a throne.
She is holding a plant.
It looks like a princess.
It's pretty yellow.
Yeah. Pretty yellow indeed.
Someone who has a lot of money to be painted. Cameras weren't around then. They may have existed then, but they may have not have been able to capture the colour so that she would be remembered in the way that he saw his daughter.
What do you think it's about?
Kids playing.
What are they playing on? What are they playing?
Swings.
Yeah. So the movement of the swing has been created from the artist using repetition of lines. So you can see a bit of a smile here. So there is, I guess it's the feeling of it. It's almost like a snapshot of this very childlike moment. And it is very simplified compared to, again, the other paintings that we looked at.
But still gives a lot of emotion, I think.
Exactly, yeah, that feeling straight away.
Oh, wow. Okay.
First thing that went into my head.
Yeah, the first thing that went into your head
The colour, brown.
is the colour brown. Okay. Do you like it?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. Thank you for that. What about you, Lassie Girls?
I like it, but not as much.
So is it a painting you would like to have up on your wall?
No.
It's wow.
Looks like people swinging in a park.
There's lots of like sort of curved crisscrossing and all that. It's pretty different from the other ones because this is more like abstract.
Wait, that's okay. This looks like a more modern artwork in comparison to the other artworks.
Because of the shapes used, it's less traditional. So do you think this artwork has a story?
I think this artwork shows the, I guess like the fun and youth of the kids in the paintings.
Yeah.
So I think it's showing, just happiness and
And also
childhood.